One important thing to keep in mind is that we all have our bad days, our low days, our not so fun days. It's totally normal to go through ebbs and flows in life. We might have more of those so-called bad days during the winter months when we are just feeling a little more down because it's darker, it's colder, all these different factors. This video is really catered towards those of us who do go through those ebbs and flows. We're still able to function, go about our day to day, but we're just noticing some changes in how we feel, and we want to improve that. But if you're watching this video right now and you are finding that you are actually struggling with your life functioning, so maybe people are noticing about you that you really aren't acting like yourself, maybe you're having some negative thoughts that are impacting the way that you show up at school, show up at work. If you're getting to the point where you're really concerned about how you feel and how you're living, and the people around you are noticing that too, then I would highly suggest that you skip straight to finding a mental health professional who can walk alongside your journey, who can give you some more specific tips related to your situation. This video, as with all of my videos, are really more general bits of wisdom. If you are seeking deeper help, I automatically would recommend just go straight to a mental health professional. I believe in the power of therapy, and if you're Catholic or Christian, there are plenty of therapists out there who do share your values. It's also possible that you'll be able to find a therapist who maybe isn't specifically Catholic or Christian, but has been trained to at least be able to talk through some of those things with you. So with that said, let's jump right into this video. I have 10 tips I'm sharing with you all today. Let's try to prevent ourselves from feeling low, and let's also manage the low if we're already there. You know what I mean? Okay. So the first tip that I have for you really is important because it's overarching for everything else that I'm going to talk about. And it is that how you feel during the winter really starts in your mind. The mind is where battles are fought. The way that you talk to yourself, the way that you think about the world around you, the way you think about all circumstances in your life, these thoughts are what determine the world that you experience. We can't think ourselves into living on a beach when in reality we live in the mountains up in a chilly place, right? We can't think ourselves into the objective reality that we live in, but our thoughts do influence our subjective reality, which in my opinion is far more important than the objective reality is. How you decide to think about the winter is going to determine the way that you feel during the winter. And the quality and the content of your thoughts are also going to determine your susceptibility to experiencing the winter blues. Keep this in mind as we go through some of these other tips which are actionable. You could do any of these things and still have a really negative perception about winter and about your day-to-day life. It's a combination of how we think about our situation, how we think about winter, and also the way that we choose to act, the habits that we decide to build in winter. It's this combination, this beautiful, amazing, wonderful combination of things that is going to lead to you feeling the best possible way this winter and really in any season at all. So now that we have that kind of cleared up, let's move into these actionable things that you can do. So the second tip that I have for you is to pick up some new hobbies. Maybe you already have a lot of hobbies, but maybe you just haven't necessarily given yourself time to actually engage in those hobbies in a long time. Having these different tasks that we can sort of get lost in, that we are able to just have fun doing, it takes our mind away from whatever might be kind of stressing us out in life. Having these activities to engage in can be so helpful in improving our overall quality of life. Maybe there are a bunch of books that have been sitting on your nightstand, like me, that you've just been waiting to read but keep making excuses. This is a great opportunity in the winter to start getting lost in some books or drawing or painting. Maybe you have never baked or cooked in your life. This could be a really fun kind of adventure for you to maybe go on Pinterest and find easy and fun recipes to play around with, and then that way you also reap the reward of eating whatever it is you made, and you could also share some of what you made with family or friends, and that's just going to naturally lift your mood. Sharing something with people and brightening their days, it'll brighten your day, and it's just this beautiful cycle. You could also pick up a hobby like content creation, making YouTube videos, maybe creating an Instagram page where you talk about something that you're really passionate about. Maybe you're also a bit like me and you are a nerd at heart. Nerds unite. Nerds are fabulous. You could pick a topic that you're really intrigued by and just do a little bit of self-studying. Getting lost in activities that you really love is going to help you not fall into the dark spiral of the winter blues. My third tip for feeling good this winter is to simply get involved. And this can look so many different ways. Maybe there is a Bible study that you just haven't joined yet. Maybe you could even start a Bible study to create some way to get involved and have other people join you. It could be super fun and social. Maybe there's a knitting class that happens at the local library. Maybe there's a baking class nearby. If you're like me, you've played a sport in your past like tennis or maybe soccer. Maybe there's an indoor league if you live in a cold place that you could join. You could also start taking kind of casual lessons again in some of those activities. Also, check your local library for different activities that are happening. A lot of times they'll have like weekly events that you can attend. Check your local community pages on social media and just stay connected with friends and family members who might also be aware of some fun things going on near you. So the fourth tip that I have is very much related to the point that I was just talking about, but it is to swap sitting for doing. I'm specifically talking about the temptation that comes when it's 4 p.m., 5 p.m., maybe even earlier, and it's getting dark. The couch or the bed or the lounge chair starts calling our name. All we want to do is just sit on the couch for multiple hours all night long, because we're like, well, what else are we gonna do? It's dark and it's cold. I'll be the first to say that that is totally an okay thing to do. And a lot of the times it's actually like what we need. It's what our bodies are calling out for. It's what our souls are calling out for. But it's when this becomes a pattern and we start to neglect some other aspects of our life, can really become a problem and can really hinder our wellness. I'll just give you all a couple little examples of swaps that you can make. Instead of choosing to sit on a couch watching TV all night long, here's some other things that you can do instead. Go for a walk, even if it's really dark, right? Just get a flashlight, go with friends, go with family members, go for a stroll somewhere where you feel safe. Of course, if it's pitch black, make sure you're walking in a safe place. Any kind of physical activity can be a great swap for sitting for multiple hours. You could just pull out your Pilates mat and do a 30-minute workout to help extend the day of doing something more positive that's going to really fill you up and help you improve yourself, right? That's 30 minutes that can be going towards you bettering yourself, improving your mental state, improving your physical state, rather than giving in to that habit of sitting on the couch for long hours all through the winter. Maybe it's like 5:30 and you're thinking to yourself, what am I gonna do all night? Well, I might as well sit on the couch. Instead, you could hop in the car, put on some good music, listen to a podcast or something, and just drive around town. Well, 'tis the season for Christmas lights to start coming out, so maybe you go for like a Christmas light drive where you go and just look around at the different decorations that people have put out at their houses. Maybe you have some fun local spots near you that you haven't tried before. Maybe you don't want to spend an arm and a leg at a restaurant. Maybe you already ate dinner, but you could go and just sit in a restaurant and just order maybe a lemonade and some chips or something, or french fries, and just spend time in a different environment where now you're extending the night and you're surrounding yourself with other people, new sounds, new sights, new smells, and you're just, again, reminding yourself that there's more to life than your home, than your little space that you typically spend time in, to help really make the winter more fun and to just extend those nights rather than giving in to the temptation of the couch, which is fair. Sometimes we should be doing that, but just not all the time. So the fifth tip that I have for you is to try to get sunlight as much as you can. Nights are so much longer, the days are so much shorter, so taking advantage of the daylight that we do have is going to be really, really helpful. Even if that means on your lunch break, you go for a quick stroll around the neighborhood, or even just eat your lunch like sitting on the bench outside, even if that means sitting in your coat with gloves and a hat on. Just being able to embrace a little bit of natural sunlight is going to be so, so good for your mental health. Yeah. Sixth tip that I have for you, I already mentioned earlier, but that is to go to therapy. The awesome thing about having a therapist is that they're going to be able to go in far more depth into all of these things that I'm talking about today. They're going to be able to personalize all of the things I'm discussing with you towards your specific life and who you are as a person. I already know a lot of the evidence-based treatments that a therapist could utilize to help you out if you are in that position, and I know from the research that I have studied from my program that they are really, really effective. And so if you're able to find a therapist that is really a good match for you and who does use evidence-based practices, I highly suggest that you go for it and see the way that you grow and develop by having this one-to-one relationship with somebody. So I would highly suggest that. I think this is, my seventh tip for you is to avoid isolation. It can be so easy to fall into, again, wanting to just sit on the couch, hang out at home all night long for multiple hours. We get more tired more easily. It can be so tempting because it's so dark outside that if somebody invites us to do something later in the day, it feels like it's 10 p.m. when really it's 5 p.m. So we might be more tempted to say no. But the power of spending time with loved ones, friends, family members who you care about, we're built and designed for community by nature, the way that God designed us. To deny that part of ourselves can see how that could lead to us feeling really, really negatively. If you're invited to something social and it's something positive that you would like to do, then saying yes to those invitations is going to work wonders for you throughout these cold winter months. But also, being the creator of the invitations, being the one to send out the invitation can go so far, because sometimes the people in your life are just waiting for somebody to step in and step up and plan something and invite people to do something. So the eighth tip that I have for you is to really keep up with your healthy habits that you try to build throughout the year. I'm going to cover sort of the generic habits that you've probably heard about through multiple other YouTube videos, and those are just general healthy habits like eating healthier foods, working out, getting that physical activity, getting regular sleep, and staying hydrated as well. I love to use the app called Habit Tracker. This is something I always fall back into using when I'm trying to keep up my healthy habits, especially if it's during a season like the winter when it's a little bit easier to fall off of those habits. So it's a really good way to help keep you accountable. In the winter months, we might not think that we need to drink as much water because it's not as hot outside. And if we're not drinking enough water, it can make us feel so sluggish and down and gross and just bad. Keep up that healthy diet, keep up that balance as far as food goes, as far as eating and drinking, and also making sure that you are going to bed at a time that allows you to get sleep that you specifically need to function well during your day-to-day life. I'm just going through a very, very quick run through as far as those are concerned, because I could go much more in depth into those in a different video, but I just wanted to make sure that I put them in this video for you too. The ninth tip that I have for you to keep those winter blues away is to limit your news consumption and also your social media use. This is a really important one because it ties right back into how easy it is during this time of the year to just want to sit on the couch or on your bed and just be chill, right? You don't really want to do anything, go anywhere. So what's the most likely thing we're going to do? When we're in that mode, we're probably going to reach for the TV remote, or we're going to reach for our cell phones, and we're probably going to start scrolling through social media and or watching YouTube, which can be filled with news as well, or just watching news on TV, whatever it might be. I would really, really encourage you guys, if that is something that you tend to fall into, just try to remember that we were not created to have the capacity to take in this influx of information all the time. Especially when that influx of information isn't always positive and uplifting. A lot of the times it's really negative news about things that we have very little control over. Now, I do definitely believe that being informed about what's going on in the world is very, very helpful and can really inform our decisions, can inform the way that we pray, etc. But at the same time, we have to know ourselves well, and we have to be able to know how much we personally can handle before it becomes too much of a burden on our shoulders. And also, if you are someone who tends to very easily fall into the trap of comparison with other people, then also scrolling social media for long periods of time can be very, very dangerous, especially during these dark, cold months. So it's really important that you know yourself super, super well, because again, there's no one size fits all for how much time you should look at the news or how much time you should use social media. It's a very, very nuanced thing, which I could go into in more depth. I am very passionate about this topic, specifically for mental health as it relates to social media. But I would say overall, try your best to limit the amount of time scrolling social media and looking at the news. And the 10th and last tip is to create a cozy, inviting, warm environment that helps to inspire you to actually enjoy these cold winter months. Finding fun little sweaters that have winter designs and phrases on them, just trying to get into that winter cold weather spirit. It's kind of like we're tricking our minds into thinking that this is not a time that we feel sad or down. This is a time when we have the most fun and we embrace the season. Maybe that means finding fun little scented candles, creating a space in your room or in your house where you have like fun little cozy blankets, add little string lights or little decorations in your room to really spice things up. This gives you something to look forward to. Even if you are tempted to stay in, you at least have a place that feels cozy and warm and that you can watch your Christmas movies in, or read a book in, or do some of your hobbies in that environment as well. It's just going to make the season more fun for you, which I suppose ties perfectly right in with the bonus tip, which is to just try your absolute best to make this season fun. Find the fun, find the funny. If that means watching more comedy, watch more comedy. Hanging out with people who have a great sense of humor, maybe try to do that more often. Rather than focusing on the negative all around you, look for ways to really brighten and lighten the mood. If you've been with me for many, many videos, then you know that this is something I really try to instill in my daily life, and it is something that I really try to promote on my YouTube channel a lot too. Finding the humor in all circumstances is so helpful. No matter what situation you are seeking wisdom and advice on, I'm always going to promote the idea of integrating humor and just finding the funny in life, because it is so incredibly healing. It just really, really, really is. So I hope that you all enjoyed this video. I hope that this is in some way helpful. This video really combined my own personal life experiences with some of what I have been trained in through my mental health counseling. I'm thinking that I will also make a part 2 to this video where I will talk more specifically about some Catholic and Christian things that you can do to help keep your spirits up for the winter, perhaps talking more about the holiday season, the Christmas season as we look at it as Christians, and also maybe some specific prayers or spiritual exercises that you can engage in throughout the winter time to help you really stay focused on what matters most, to keep your mind positive and grateful and pointed towards heaven. If you would like a video like that, then please do let me know by commenting down below yes. All you have to type is yes, and I will take that as a sign that you would like to see that type of video. Feel free to hit that subscribe button if you're interested in seeing more of my videos, which I have a lot more planned for you. I look forward to seeing you all in my next video, and I wish you the absolute best. We are in this together. The winter months have nothing on us, especially when we have the Lord on our side. So I will see you in my next video, and please don't ever forget that you are so incredibly, amazingly, unbelievably loved by the Creator himself. It's such a gift, such a blessing. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day. Alrighty, you guys, bye.